Trans fat definition. What do you need to know to optimize your health? Coming right up. Hey, I'm Dr. Ekberg with Wellness for Life, and if you like to truly master health by understanding how the body really works, make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss anything. It's kind of interesting with all of the diets and all of the ideas and all the philosophies of vegetarianism and keto and eat this and that and the DASH diet and the Mediterranean diet. There's so many different opinions, but there's two things that everyone agrees on across the board, and that is white sugar is really bad and trans fats are really bad. So we've gotten that far. We have that much agreement. But let's talk about what trans fats are. So a fatty acid is a chain of carbons linked together. Usually the fats we eat are anywhere from 4 carbons up to 20-ish. And each carbon can connect with 4 different things. So it connects to another carbon, and that leaves it 3 other connections. And at the one end, it connects with 3 hydrogens. Then along the way, it binds with 2 carbons, so it only has room to bind with 2 hydrogens. And then at the end, it binds with what's called a carboxyl group. It's a COOH. I didn't put that on here, but that is what makes it a fatty acid. The carboxyl group is what makes it a fatty acid, and every fatty acid has one at the end. But along the way, they can look differently. So if it's a straight chain where every carbon is only bound by a single bond to every other carbon, it makes a straight chain, and there's hydrogens plugged in on every position, and that's called a saturated fatty acid. Because it's saturated, it's jam-packed, it's going to be straight, and when you have straight things, they pack closely together like pencils in a box, and that makes the fat solid at room temperature. So it's going to have a very high melting point. These carbons can also make double bonds. They can use 2 of their connections between each other. And in nature, what happens now is that wherever it makes a double bond, it puts both the hydrogens on the same side. So they take up space on this side, and there is less stuff on the inside, which makes this molecule bend. And when they're bent, they don't pack so tightly together, and this is what makes an oil or a liquid at room temperature. So these things have low melting temperatures, and if they have multiple double bonds, so they're polyunsaturated, they can even stay liquid in the freezer sometimes, like fish oil and flax oil. So if the hydrogens are on the same side, this is called a cis bond. Now, there is a strange animal where the hydrogens end up on opposite sides, and that's called a trans fat. So this is different because there is a double bond, but it's straight. So it's an unsaturated fat that's behaving like a saturated fat. That's why they started doing this, because they can take an oil that is liquid and they can turn it into a solid and make margarine. So that takes it from liquid to solid, but it also improves the shelf life, because an unsaturated fat is very reactive, but once they turn it into this, even though it has a double bond and is strictly still unsaturated, it still behaves as a saturated. So this is kind of a hybrid. Most of the time, these are man-made. They're synthetic. There is one unique case in nature, and it's called a conjugated linoleic acid. And this is where, in nature, it actually makes a cis and a trans. It makes this and this at the same time. And this is a very, very healthy thing. So if you have a healthy gut flora, if you have lots and lots of healthy bifidum bacteria, your gut will manufacture this. And this has been shown in research to have multiple health benefits. It's even sold as a nutritional supplement. So even though it is a trans fat, it is not the man-made synthetic toxic trans fat. Everyone agrees that this is one of the worst abominations of chemistry that we have ever produced. But just because they're a trans doesn't mean that this is a bad one. The synthetic is terrible and the natural is healthy. So if you have good health gut bacteria, you can make this, but you can also consume it from dairy and meat if the cows were grass-fed. Because if the cows are healthy, if they eat a natural diet, then they produce this healthy thing. So a grass-fed cow will make up to 5 times more CLA than a corn-fed cow. Once again, it's fascinating to me how well nature has all of this stuff figured out. So the reason this one doesn't fit is because it's a straight molecule acting like a saturated, but it's not. And every place that these molecules are different, we need a different enzyme to process it. So nature has provided us with enzymes through the generations for every conceivable combination except the man-made ones. So when these find their ways into your membranes, then they disrupt the function. Your brain cell membranes, your blood vessel cell membranes, they're imposters. They don't act chemically, they look one way and act another. So your body gets really confused and they kind of infiltrate your cell membranes and your body doesn't know what to do with them. And as these accumulate, then they create damage. So that's the difference. Man-made trans fats are terrible. Trans fats in nature are very beneficial for us. So please share this information with people that you know and care about. And if you're new to this kind of information, new to this channel, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can keep learning and that we can keep this content coming your way. Thanks for watching.